with Sasha Bray and Jeff Smith.
A Toledo woman is speaking out this afternoon, detailing the threat she received just before her home went up in flames.
13 ABC's Mackenzie Keyline's been following this story all morning. She's got the latest.
Toledo firefighters say when they arrived to the home, the back door was left wide open with flames shooting out of the roof. This is what's left of a home on the 600 block of Spencer near Prouty. Neighbors say they heard a loud boom before seeing the flames. The fire rekindled several times and quickly spread to a neighboring home. The battalion chief says no one was injured, but the man who lives next door was taken into custody after trying to stop firefighters from spraying water on his home. He has since been released. A woman who rented the home said she was in the process of moving out. She says she's been staying somewhere else after receiving threatening messages.
Like I said, somebody here wrote on the back by my back door.
Wrote what?
To get out. Somebody wrote a message to get out on the back door.
Any idea who could have done this?
Well, quite a few is going through my head, but I don't want to point fingers not knowing anything for sure.
Fire officials say the cause is considered suspicious and remains under investigation. Jeff and Sasha.
Meanwhile, a Toledo man is in critical condition after crashing his van into a house today. It happened just before 6 a.m. on the 500 block of South Avenue. Toledo police say the driver of a vehicle experienced some sort of medical emergency, that minivan right there, causing him to lose control. The driver then hit a fence and that white parked car you saw a moment ago before coming to a stop near the house. First responders performed CPR on the man and then rushed him to the hospital. Police say the driver's wife and daughter were in the van as well. They were not hurt.
We are also learning more about an early morning robbery in which the suspects held a Toledo family at gunpoint. Police found Antonio Talley Jr. and Kayla Gordon driving in a vehicle that was stolen from a home in the 3100 block of Elm around 1 this morning. According to police, the family says Talley and Gordon kicked in their back door with a third suspect and ransacked the home. That third suspect is still on the loose. Talley and Gordon were arraigned this morning, and the judge set their bond at $200,000 each.
We're also learning more about a hit-and-run accident that happened on Shelley Avenue near Seco Street in Maumee overnight. Police are investigating the accident. They say the person who was hit is in critical condition. The Maumee police say they're looking for a suspect still. The possible vehicle involved was described as a dark-colored sedan that they think will have front-end damage now. The victim of the accident has not been identified. If you know anything, you're asked to call Maumee police. From there, we turn to the weather right now. We're sitting at 73 degrees right now. Let's check in with Ross Ellett. What can we expect, Ross?
Well, those temperatures will just continue to climb up. So it started off really cool, although you can start to feel that warmth. It's building outside and temperatures not quite to 80 yet, but we'll get there certainly as we go into the early part of the afternoon for today. Right now, 75 in Findlay, 74. We just hit that mark here in Toledo and 73 in Hillsdale. No rain on the screen. Viper showing some showers and storms back to the west from Minneapolis down to Kansas City. That is our next weather system on the way. We'll get some rain back in our area for tomorrow. But the heaviest rain looks like it will slide off south of our viewing area altogether. So just a few showers tomorrow and another batch of rain likely coming into the area on Friday. Our cast showing temperatures warming up to about 85 for this afternoon, about 83 at 7 o'clock. And then once we see the night finally arrive here for us, the sky should be clear initially, then more clouds beginning to move in, but still a good chance of seeing the International Space Station again for tonight. This will be the third night in a row, but likely the last opportunity coming up for quite some time. 10 to 33 for tonight is when it'll appear in the west part of the sky and will last for 5 more minutes. Now coming up here in just a few more minutes, we'll talk about as those clouds roll in, it'll start to produce rainfall. So we'll let you know when and how long we're going to have to be dealing with that coming up.
Ross, thank you. This afternoon, we've got some new details about the 2 inmates who escaped from the Sandusky County Jail. The sheriff says that there were 3 things that led to that jailbreak. 13 ABC's Christina Williams has the details on this case, all new at noon.
Sandusky County Sheriff Chris Hilton says a mechanical error, a human error, and a training issue all played a role in that escape. Last week, 2 inmates, Jordan Chapman and Mickey Hardy, escaped from the Sandusky County Jail out of an emergency exit. According to the sheriff, the door in question was replaced in 2016 when another inmate got out, but the wiring was still faulty. The faulty wiring in turn meant that the corrections officers inside the jail were not signaled that the door was not secured on their electronic system. As for the human error, the sheriff says the door was not properly checked to make sure that it was secure. And according to Sheriff Hilton, the corrections officer was never properly trained to check that door for any security breaches. Many people questioned if this was an inside job, and the sheriff insists that is not the case. Even releasing surveillance video from inside the jail an hour before that escape, the actual jailbreak, and a view from inside the jail showing those COs working at the same time the inmates made a break for it. We're working on getting that video for you. As for the employee in question here, one person was disciplined but still works for the department. As for the inmates, they are back in custody and now facing additional charges. Jeff?
A crime and safety alert for you here at the noon hour. This Sandusky man we're going to show you right here is now behind bars, accused of raping at least 4 underage victims. We're following this story with the Sandusky Register, the newspaper reporting that 2 different agencies are looking into those rape allegations against the 28-year-old. Police reports show that he has a history of assaulting underage girls, and that goes back years. The Erie County Sheriff's Office says new allegations have resurfaced that he raped a 16-year-old girl in Castalia in June. He was arrested Friday.
Authorities say a 7-year-old Michigan boy died while attending summer camp this week. The boy was apparently hit by a vehicle Tuesday in Portage during a field trip at or near a crosswalk, and his death is still under investigation.
The state of Ohio has carried out its first execution in more than 3 years. 43-year-old Ronald Phillips got the death penalty or was executed this morning at 10 down in Lucasville at the death house. He was convicted for the 1993 rape and killing of Sheila Marie Evans, his girlfriend's 3-year-old daughter. Phillips' last-minute appeal to the U.S. Supreme Court was denied last night, clearing the way for this execution. Ohio has not put a prisoner to death for 3 years, as we said, while the state dealt with legal challenges to the methods used in those executions. There was concern that the drugs were not strong enough and the process was inhumane. Last month, the lower court upheld Ohio's execution process.
Michigan State Police are investigating the death of a 73-year-old Monroe man who was killed in a crash Tuesday. This happened in Ash Township. The Monroe News says the accident occurred at the intersection of Grafton and Labo Road at 10 o'clock yesterday morning. Right now, investigators think that a 43-year-old woman failed to stop at a stop sign, then crossed Grafton and was hit by an oncoming car that was operated by the man who died. Drugs and alcohol, according to police, not a factor. It's a controversial decision drawing criticism from around the country.
Why President Trump says transgender people will not serve in the military anymore.
Home prices are on the rise. We're tracking what's behind that jump next.